Here is a great, deep, and detailed summary of the events surrounding NASIR-UD-DIN KHUSRAV SHAH's rise to power in 30, written in the simplest possible language, so that even a complete beginner can understand everything clearly and fully. Deep, detailed summary. Rise of NASIR, April-September 1320. Background. Before Khusrav became king, Sultan Mubarak Shah, the last ruler of the Khalji dynasty, had been murdered by his own favourite and close companion, Khusrav Khan. Khusrav had been slowly gaining power, convincing the king to let him raise an army and bring his friends into the palace. On April 14, 1320, Khusrav and his men stabbed Mubarak to death inside the palace. Khusrav takes the throne. One Khusrav acts fast after the murder. Right after Mubarak's death, Khusrav called all the powerful nobles and ministers to the court. He told them the facts. I killed him, but it's done. You must now accept me as king. This situation, where something bad has already happened and people are forced to accept it, is called a fait accompli. The nobles, possibly afraid or greedy for rewards, gave their approval. 2. Khusrav becomes king. With their consent, Khusrav crowned himself on 15th April 1320. He took the royal name NASIR-UD-DIN KHUSRAV SHAH, which means helper of the faith. Taking such a title was meant to give his rule religious and moral authority. How Khusrav tried to keep power. Khusrav knew his position was weak. Many people disliked or distrusted him, so he tried several strategies to secure his rule. 3. Keeping some officers, removing others. He kept many ministers and military officers from Mubarak's government to avoid creating too many enemies. But he also removed, and in some cases executed, those who were loyal to the old Khalji dynasty. This was a mix of cleverness and cruelty. Keep the useful ones, kill the dangerous ones. 4. Marrying into the royal family. He married Dev-al-Divi, the widow of Khizr Khan, Mubarak's brother. This was not for love. It was a political move to make himself look like part of the old royal family. By marrying someone from the Khalji family, he hoped to make his rule appear more official and respectable. 5. Using gifts to win loyalty. Khusrav gave out lavish rewards, land, money, jobs, and fancy titles to nobles, officers, and governors. He believed that buying loyalty would help him stay in power. This made some nobles support him, but others only pretended to be loyal, waiting for the right time to betray him. 6. Promoting important people. He promoted powerful men who could be useful. Wahid-ud-Din Qureshi, a former minister, was allowed to keep his post and got the new title, Taj-ul-Mulk, Crown of the Kingdom. Ain-ul-Mulk Multani, a respected general, was kept in service and promoted to Amir-ul-Umara, chief of the nobles. Fakhruddin Muhammad Jauna, son of Ghazi Malik, became master of the horse, an important army job. Ghazi Malik, his father, remained governor of Punjab and warden of the marches, commander of border security. 7. Winning the support of distant governors. Some powerful regional rulers, governors like Malik Yaklaki of Samana, the governors of Multan and Siwistan, also accepted Khusrav's rule and promised loyalty. This gave him temporary control over a large part of the empire. But his rule was built on weak foundations. Even though everything looked fine on the surface, Khusrav's rule was not stable. He had come to power through murder, not through proper succession. Many nobles were only pretending to be loyal and waiting for the right time to strike. His background as a converted slave and non-noble origin made many Turkish nobles look down on him. He depended too much on fear, bribes, and fake loyalty, not real respect. Final result, Khusrav ruled for only about 4.5 months, from 15th April to 5th September 1320. During this short time, he worked hard to gain and protect power, but his unpopular rule, his murderous rise, and his untrustworthy allies all made his fall inevitable. We will learn soon that Ghazi Malik, whom he had promoted, would later rise against him and overthrow him, ending Khusrav's short reign. Final summary. 1 paragraph. After murdering Sultan Mubarak in April 1320, Khusrav Khan quickly took the throne as NASIR-UD-DIN KHUSRAV SHAH. He forced nobles to accept him, kept some ministers, and removed or killed others who still supported the Khiljis. He married into the royal family, gave out gifts and titles to win support, and secured loyalty from key generals and governors like Ain-ul-Mulk and Ghazi Malik. For a short time, Khusrav appeared strong, but underneath his rule was weak, based on fear, bribery, and betrayal, and it would not last. Would you like me to now turn this into a comic strip? Make a timeline? Write a short story version? Let me know how you want to learn next. I'll make it easy and fun for you. Here is the greatest and detailed summary of the passage, written in the simplest and clearest way possible, with full explanation of every key idea, hidden meanings, so even a complete beginner can understand exactly what happened and why it mattered. Detailed summary: opposition against Khusrav Khan and the beginning of rebellion. Who was Khusrav Khan? Khusrav Khan was an Indian Muslim. He was not born Muslim. He was born as a Hindu in Gujarat, from a Bava caste, which is a low-ranking shepherd caste. He converted to Islam and rose through military ranks under the Khalji rulers. Eventually, he killed Sultan Mubarak Shah and took the throne for himself in 1320, declaring himself as NASIR-UD-DIN KHUSRAV. How did he try to step power? 1. Gaining support from religious leaders. Khusrav gave gifts and money to many respected Muslim saints and religious men, especially Sheikh Nizam-ud-Din Auliya of Delhi. These religious leaders blessed his rule, helping him gain public acceptance. 2. Rewarding his own people. He gave jobs, land, and wealth to his tribe members from Gujarat, many of whom were Hindus. He believed in loyalty, so he rewarded those who helped him rise to power. Why did the powerful nobles hate him? A. He was an Indian, not a foreigner. The Turkish nobles had ruled India since the start of the Delhi Sultanate. They were proud and believed only Turkish Muslims should hold high positions. Khusrav, being an Indian Muslim from a low Hindu caste, was seen as unfit to rule by these men. B. Racial and cultural arrogance. These Turkish nobles believed Indian Muslims were inferior and should never be kings. They had always controlled power and didn't want that to change. C. Jealousy and fear of losing power. Khusrav removed some of the older Turkish nobles and replaced them with his own supporters. This made the elite feel threatened and disrespected. What did the nobles do in response? A. They spread lies and fear. They started a false campaign saying, Khusrav is only half Muslim, he is bringing idol worship into the palace, he is disrespecting Islam. They claimed Islam was in danger under his rule. B. Used religion as a weapon. These nobles used religion as a tool to turn the public against Khusrav. Even though Khusrav had support from many Muslim leaders, the nobles kept pushing the idea that his rule was anti-Islam. The role of historian Barani. A historian named Zia-ud-Din Barani, who belonged to the Turkish elite, wrote very negatively about Khusrav. He claimed Khusrav was hated by everyone and unpopular, but historians today believe Barani was biased because he was on the side of the Turkish ruling class. In reality, many powerful Muslims and religious figures supported Khusrav. Who started the rebellion? Ghazi Malik. Ghazi Malik was a Turkish governor of the Punjab region, a border province. He was part of the old Turkish elite and was personally ambitious. He wanted to be king himself. He believed only Turks should rule and despised Khusrav's background. Ghazi Malik's first attempt to overthrow Khusrav. A failed diplomacy. Ghazi Malik tried to get support from other powerful governors, Siwistan, Multan, Samana, but they all refused to support him. They saw no real danger to Islam and didn't want to join a rebellion. Ghazi Malik's secret strategy, stirring rebellion. A. Targeted lower officers. Ghazi Malik then changed his strategy. He targeted lower-ranking officers, not the powerful ones. He secretly spread lies and fear to them. He said, Khusrav is destroying Islam, we must fight him. B. Gained support from fanatics. Many of these lower officers were religious extremists, or easily influenced. They believed Ghazi Malik and joined his rebellion. They gathered support from the fanatical public, people who were very emotional and could be easily stirred by religious fear. Final result story. Ghazi Malik failed to get support from powerful men. But his second plan worked. He won over angry officers and religious fanatics. A rebellion had now begun in 3 major provinces, Multanistan, Samana. Khusrav Khan's rule was now in serious danger. The final takeaway, why this matters. This conflict between Khusrav and the Turkish nobles was not just political. It was about race, Turks versus Indians, religion, accusations about protecting Islam, class and birth, foreign-born versus low-caste locals, and personal ambition. Ghazi Malik wanted to be king. Khusrav tried to build an inclusive, bringing Indian Muslims and Hindus into power. But the old elite hated this change and used religion, lies, and rebellion to bring him down. Would you like me to now turn this summary into a comic strip, a timeline of key events, a drama-style narrative with characters? I can do all or any. Just say the word. Of course. Here's a great, deep, and detailed summary of this event, written in the simplest language possible, as if you're learning this story for the first time. Summary: The fall of Khusrav Khan, 320, a story of betrayal, ambition, and the last chance for Indian Muslims in early Delhi Sultanate rule. Who was Khusrav Khan? Khusrav Khan was originally a Hindu from Gujarat, from a Barvar, shepherd, caste. He later converted to Islam and rose to power in the Delhi Sultanate. In 1320, he murdered Sultan Mubarak Shah and became king, taking the name NASIR-UD-DIN KHUSRAV SHAH. He was not accepted by many powerful Turkish nobles because he was Indian-born, not of foreign Turkish origin. Why did the Turks hate Khusrav? The ruling class in Delhi at that time was mostly Turkish Muslims, originally from Central Asia. These Turkish nobles had ruled India for over a century and were very proud of their race and status. They believed only Turks should rule, and they saw Indian Muslims like Khusrav as inferior. Even though Khusrav was brave and gave rewards to his supporters, many nobles plotted to remove him. Ghazi Malik's rebellion. Ghazi Malik, a powerful Turkish governor of Punjab, decided to overthrow Khusrav. He was a leader of the old Turkish elite and couldn't accept an Indian Muslim ruling the kingdom. His son, Fakhruddin Jonah, later known as Muhammad bin Tughlaq, escaped from Delhi and joined him secretly in a city called Dipalpur. Once ready, Ghazi Malik marched toward Delhi with his army. The battles on the way to Delhi. Malik Yaklaki, Khusrav's supporter and governor of Samana, tried to stop Ghazi, but was defeated. 2. Next, Hisam-ud-Din, Khusrav's half-brother, also fought at Sirsa, but was defeated and ran away. Khusrav's army was growing weaker and weaker. The final battle near Delhi. When Ghazi Malik got close to Delhi, Khusrav came out of the capital and met him at Indraprastha, near modern-day Delhi. Just before the battle, one of Khusrav's top generals, Ain-ul-Mulk, betrayed him and left with his troops to Malwa. Even without full support, Khusrav fought bravely on 5th September 1320, but he was defeated in battle and killed. The end of Khusrav Khan. His rule ended after only a few months. He had tried to break the power of the old Turkish nobles and bring more Indian Muslims into the government, but his efforts were crushed by racism, betrayal, and the ambition of others. Why this was so important in history? Since the start of the Delhi Sultanate in 1206, foreign Turks had ruled India. Only 2 Indian Muslims ever came close to controlling the government. 1. Imad-ud-Din Rayhan, who became a prime minister briefly. 2. Khusrav Khan, who became sultan for a short time. Both were brought down by the racial pride and power hunger of the Turkish ruling class. The case of Khusrav shows that religion alone, being Muslim, was not enough. Race and background still mattered deeply in politics. Final thought. Khusrav Khan's fall was not just the end of one man's rule. It was the end of a hope for local Indian Muslims to have a real share in ruling their own land until later centuries. It reminds us how power, pride, race, and jealousy can destroy even brave rulers. Would you like this? A comic strip, a timeline format, a drama dialogue version. Let me know. I'll create it for you instantly. Here is a great and detailed summary of the passage, English for full understanding, even if you're a total beginner in history. Summary: why Khusrav Khan was treated unfairly and how bias changed history. Who was Khusrav Khan? Khusrav Khan was originally a Hindu from Gujarat, from the Barvar shepherd caste. He later converted to Islam and rose to a high position in the Delhi Sultanate. In 1320, he killed Sultan Mubarak Shah and became the Sultan himself, taking the title NASIR-UD-DIN KHUSRAV SHAH. Why was Khusrav not accepted by many? Even though he was a Muslim, he was Indian-born, not Turkish. The Turkish nobles who had ruled India for over a century looked down on Indian Muslims. They believed that only Turks had the right to rule, and no Indian should be allowed to become king. What did Islam actually teach? Islam teaches that all Muslims are equal, no matter what their background. It says anyone who has the ability can become king, not just people from royal families or foreign lands. That means Khusrav, who was a Muslim and had seized the throne by power, had a right to rule. What were the accusations against him? His enemies accused him of insulting Islam, allowing idol worship, Hindu-style worship, letting people sit on Qurans, disrespectful use of holy books. But these were probably lies, created as propaganda, false stories to turn people against him. Why would people lie about him? These lies were spread by Ghazi Malik and his son Jana Khan, who wanted to take over the throne. To justify their rebellion, they made Khusrav look like a bad and sinful king. In truth, the main reason they opposed Khusrav was racial prejudice and ambition, not religion. Who could have judged him fairly? A famous religious scholar of the time, Shaykh Nizam-ud-Din Aulia, lived in Delhi and supported Khusrav. If Khusrav had truly disrespected Islam, this holy man would not have supported him. But instead of listening to respected religious voices, people listened to military men with their own political plans. Isn't killing your ruler wrong? Yes, Khusrav killed Sultan Mubarak Shah, who had helped him rise. But other rulers, like Alauddin Khalji, Balban, had also done similar. They are still remembered as great kings, so why is only Khusrav criticized for this? What about the historians? Much of what we know about Khusrav comes from Ziauddin Bahrani, a historian who did not like him. Bahrani supported the Turkish elite and was strongly against Indian Muslims rising to power. Later historians simply copied Bahrani's words without checking the truth. As a result, Khusrav's image in history is unfair and one-sided. What happened in the end? Ghazi Malik defeated Khusrav in battle and became the new sultan in September 1320. Khusrav's rule ended, and with it ended a rare chance for Indian Muslims to share power. Deeper meaning of the story. This is not just about one king losing his throne. It's about how racial pride and power struggles destroyed the dream of equality. How history can be written by the winners, even if they lie. How people are judged unfairly, not for their actions, but for where they came from. And how a religion that teaches equality was used by some people as a tool for division and control. Khusrav Khan was not a man. He made mistakes, but he was also a victim of racism, lies, and ambition. His fall reminds us that truth in history is often hidden beneath prejudice and power politics. Would you like a comic strip, timeline, or audio-style storytelling of this summary next? Just tell me how you'd like to see or hear this. I'll make it for you. Here is a great, deep, and detailed summary of Jalaluddin Khalji's rule, in the simplest language possible, so that even if you have no background knowledge, you will fully understand everything. Jalaluddin Khalji, reign 1290 to 12E, found Khalji dynasty, known for his kindness, tolerance, and fair rule. 1. Jalaluddin became king when he was 70 years old, which is very rare for kings. He ruled only for 6 years, 1290 to 1296 CE. Despite his age, he brought a fresh new approach to ruling, focused on peace and fairness, not just war. 2. A hero before he became king. Before becoming sultan, Jalaluddin worked under a former king named Balban, military commander in the northwest region, near today's Pakistan-Afghanistan border. He fought many battles to stop Mongol invasions. The Mongols were fierce Central Asian warriors known for destroying entire cities. He was respected as a brave defender of India, even before he sat on the throne. 3. Defeated the Mongols, then forgave them. A Mongol leader named Abdullah attacked India. Jalaluddin defeated them, but instead of killing the surviving Mongols, he showed mercy. He allowed them to live near Delhi if they converted to Islam, became Muslims. These Mongols were called the New Musalmans, New Muslims. This act showed that Jalaluddin was not only strong, but also kind and smart. He turned enemies into friends. 4. Kindness to Hindus. A major change. Jalaluddin was the first Sultan of Delhi who showed respect and kindness toward Hindus. At that time, most people in India were Hindus. Instead of treating them like second-class citizens, Jalaluddin believed that they deserved fair treatment. This made him very different from previous rulers who favored only Muslims. 5. Believed in people's support, not fear. Jalaluddin had a modern belief. A king should rule with the support of the people, not by fear or cruelty. He said a government must be built on the willing support of the governed, meaning the people should accept and respect their ruler. This is similar to modern democracy, where leaders are chosen by the people. 6. A realistic view of religion and rule. He openly said that India could never be a purely Islamic state because most people were Hindus. He understood that the ruler had to respect all communities, not just his own. This showed he was practical, wise, and ahead of his time. Why was Jalaluddin Khalji important? Aspect: why it matters. Founder started the Khalji dynasty that ruled for 30 years. Military leader, defended India from Mongol attacks. Religious fairness, treated Hindus with respect, very rare at that time. Kind ruler, chose mercy and peace over violence. Modern ideas, believed in ruling with people's support, not by force. Final thoughts. Jalaluddin Khalji wasn't a typical king. He wasn't cruel or greedy. He didn't try to force his religion on others. He believed in inclusion, peace, and justice. In a time of war and division, he tried to create unity between Hindus and Muslims. Though his reign was short, he laid the foundation for fair and thoughtful governance in India. Would you like this story turned into a comic strip, a timeline of his life, or a dialogue-style play of his most important moments? Just tell me, I'll make it for you. Here is a great, deep, detailed summary of the story of Jalaluddin Khalji's rule and betrayal by Alauddin Khalji, written in very simple language with all key events clearly explained. Detailed summary of Jalaluddin Khalji's rule and death, 1290 to 1296 CE. 1. Who was Jalaluddin Khalji? Jalaluddin was the first ruler of the Khalji dynasty. He became king, sultan, in CE at the age of 70. He had fought bravely against the Mongols before becoming king. He was known for being kind, soft-hearted, and forgiving, unlike the harsh rulers before him, like Balban. 2. Jalaluddin's style of ruling. He believed in mercy, not cruelty. Even when people rebelled, he forgave them. Sometimes he even rewarded rebels to turn them into friends. He believed that a ruler should win the hearts of people. He also tried to create peace between Hindus and Muslims. 3. Weakness misunderstood. Many people saw his kindness as a weakness. Even his own followers and nobles began to lose respect for him. Thieves and robbers became bold, knowing they wouldn't be punished seriously. This led to problems in law and order in the kingdom. 4. Kindness to nobles and rebels. He kept old nobles from previous kings instead of replacing them. One such noble was Malik Chaju, the nephew of the earlier king Balban. Jalaluddin let him be governor of Kara. Chaju rebelled twice. First time he was defeated and forgiven. Second time he was removed, and Jalaluddin gave the post to his own nephew and son-in-law, Alauddin Khalji. 5. Trying to keep peace with Mongols. He married his daughter to Ulugh Khan, a descendant of Genghis Khan, the Mongol leader. This was a political marriage done to make peace with the Mongols and avoid war. 6. Alauddin's secret plans and raid on Devagiri, 1294 CE. Alauddin, now governor of Kara, wanted to become king. He secretly raided the rich kingdom of Devagiri in present-day Maharashtra. He stole a huge amount of treasure, gold, silver, and jewels. He kept this hidden from Jalaluddin and planned to use it to gain power later. 7. The betrayal 1296 CE. In 1296, Jalaluddin went to meet Alauddin at Kara. Alauddin welcomed him warmly and acted loyal, but it was a trap. During the meeting, Alauddin murdered Jalaluddin. This act of killing one's own family member and king was called treachery, betrayal. Nact 8. Alauddin becomes Sultan. After killing Jalaluddin, Alauddin declared himself Sultan. He used the stolen treasure from Devagiri to bribe soldiers and nobles, buy loyalty, secure his rule. This was the start of Alauddin Khalji's reign, which would later become one of the most powerful in Delhi Sultanate history. Final thoughts. What we learned, theme, what happened, what it tells us. Mercy. Mercy versus power. Jalaluddin forgave rebels and robbers. Too much kindness in politics can lead to problems. Tolerance. He tried to be friendly with Hindus and Mongols. He wanted harmony, not religious hatred. Ambition. Alauddin secretly planned his rise. Ambition can lead to betrayal. Betrayal. Alauddin murdered his own uncle and father-in-law. Power often comes with dark actions. Rise to power. Alauddin used stolen wealth to gain the throne. Wealth can buy political support. If you'd like, I can also create a comic strip version, a timeline chart, a dramatic scene, or a comparison between Jalaluddin and Alauddin Khalji. Would you like one of those next? Here's a deep, detailed, and super easy-to-understand summary of the content about Alauddin Khalji's early life, career, and rise to power before he became Sultan, 1296 to 1316 CE. It explains his background, achievements, and ambitions in simple words for someone who is brand new to history. A great, deep, and easy summary of Alauddin Khalji's rise. Who was Alauddin Khalji? Alauddin Khalji was born into the Khalji family, which was a Turkish-origin Muslim family in India. He was the nephew and son-in-law of Jalaluddin Khalji, the founder of the Khalji dynasty in Delhi. That means Jalaluddin was both his uncle and his father-in-law. He had married Jalaluddin's daughter. Alauddin was very ambitious, which means he really wanted to become powerful, even more powerful than his uncle, the king. Hatch. Early support to Jalaluddin. When Jalaluddin was trying to become Sultan, king, Alauddin supported him. In return, Jalaluddin gave Alauddin some important posts in the royal court. 1. Amir-i-Tuzuk, master of ceremonies. He managed palace events and royal celebrations. 2. Arizi-Mumalik, minister of war. He was in charge of training and organizing the army. Military skill and victories. Alauddin proved himself as a great soldier and general by leading and winning 2 military campaigns. 1. Victory at Bilsa, Vidisha, c. 1292 CE. He attacked and plundered the rich temple city of Bilsa, now in Madhya Pradesh. As a reward, he was given more land to rule, Ikta. He already ruled Kara. He was given Awadh, modern-day Uttar Pradesh. 2. Attack on Devagiri, c. 1294 CE. He led a daring raid deep into South India, attacking Devagiri, a wealthy city in Maharashtra. He looted huge treasures, gold, silver, jewels, and became very rich. This was the first time a Turkish commander from Delhi had reached that far into southern India. He kept much of the treasure hidden from the Sultan to use later for his own plan to become king. What did these achievements show? Alauddin had strong military talent. He was brave, clever, and could plan battles well. Smart political mind. He knew how to use power and money to grow stronger. Big ambition. Even though he served Jalaluddin, he was secretly preparing to take the throne himself. What was his strategy? He won people's trust by winning battles, being good at administration, helping his uncle. He gathered wealth and loyalty by winning rich wars like the Devagiri raid, rewarding soldiers and officers secretly to build his own following. Final thoughts. Why is this important? Alauddin didn't just become Sultan by luck. He built his path slowly by proving himself as a general, administrator, and planner. He used his position under Jalaluddin to gain power quietly and prepared for a takeover that would soon come. Next step in the story. After gaining all this wealth and power, Alauddin would betray Jalaluddin and kill him, then take over the throne of Delhi. Would you like that next part explained too? Or I can make a comic strip to show this entire summary in pictures. Here's a great deep summary of Alauddin Khalji's harsh rule and strict policy, explained in very simple words, with all important points included. Summary of Alauddin Khalji's harsh rule, c. 1296 to 1316 CE. Background. Alauddin Khalji became Sultan of Delhi after murdering his uncle Jalaluddin Khalji in 1296 CE. Unlike Jalaluddin, who ruled with kindness, Alauddin believed in strict control and ruling with fear. Why did Alauddin rule harshly? He believed kindness makes rulers look weak. Rich and powerful nobles often become rebellious. Strict rules and fear keep an empire under control. What did he do? 1. He gave severe punishments. Anyone who disobeyed him was punished harshly. Some were exiled, others had their property taken away. 2. He copied Sultan Balban's strict methods. Balban was an earlier ruler known for ruling with fear. Alauddin followed his style to stay powerful and respected. 3. He killed or removed people he didn't trust. New Musulmans, recent Hindu converts to Islam, were killed. Old nobles from Balban and Jalaluddin's time were also removed. He believed these people were not loyal and might plan to rebel. 4. He stopped powerful nobles and religious scholars. Nobles couldn't become too rich or marry into powerful families. Religious leaders, ulema, were told not to interfere in politics. What Barani said. NASIR-UD-DIN Barani, a famous historian, wrote that Alauddin believed these 5 things caused rebellion. Problem. Why it was a problem. What Alauddin did. 1. Nobles were too rich. They had too much power. He confiscated their wealth. 2. Nobles married each other, made them stronger as a group. He banned such marriages. 3. No spy system. Sultan couldn't know who was plotting. He built a strong. 4. Drinking alcohol, made nobles lazy and undisciplined. Banned all liquor and drugs. 5. Social gatherings. Nobles could plan rebellion secretly. Banned all parties and festivals, unless he allowed. Results of these actions. Nobles were scared, not rebellious. No major revolts happened during his rule. People followed rules, but out of fear, not love. Final thoughts. Alauddin Khalji was not a kind king, but he was very effective in controlling the empire. He removed all threats by being harsh, strict, and alert. His rule was stable and rebellion-free, though not popular among nobles. He believed in ruling with strength, not mercy. Would you like this turned into a visual diagram or comic strip? Or should we go to his economic reforms, wars, or southern expeditions next? Just let me know. I'm here to make history easy for you. Here is a deep, detailed, and super simple summary of the topic you asked for: Alauddin Khalji's military reforms, Mongol wars, and conquests, designed for complete beginners with zero background in history. Summary. Alauddin Khalji's army, Mongol defense and conquests, 1296 to 1316 CE. Who was Alauddin Khalji? Alauddin Khalji was one of the most powerful sultans, kings of Delhi. He ruled from 1296 to 1316 CE. He wanted to become the greatest emperor of India, stop Mongol attacks, expand his territory across India, create a very strong government and army. Nashta 1. Why did Alauddin create a huge army? Alauddin had big dreams. He wanted to conquer more lands and protect Delhi from foreign attacks. His main threat was the Mongols, fierce invaders from Central Asia. So, he built a permanent standing army. This means the army was always ready. Soldiers were paid regularly. They didn't go home. They lived like professional soldiers. Why it was important. No king before him had such a large full-time army. 2. How did he deal with the Mongol invasions? The Mongols attacked 6 times during Alauddin's reign. Mongol attack, what happened? First and second, Alauddin's army defeated them easily. The Mdukwa reached Delhi, but was stopped just before entering the city. 4th to 6th, again defeated severely. thousands of Mongols were killed. Border protection. Alauddin fortified the northwest border of India, near Afghanistan and Pakistan. He built forts, watchtowers, and checkpoints to stop invaders early. He appointed Ghazi Malik, a strong and loyal general, as warden of the marches, chief guardian of the borders. Why it mattered, these actions stopped future invasions and made the capital city safe. Hat 3. Alauddin's military conquests. Inside, Alauddin also wanted to expand his kingdom. He attacked and conquered many rich kingdoms. A. Gujarat, West India. Gujarat was a wealthy trading kingdom. Alauddin's army attacked, defeated it, and looted a lot of gold. Gujarat became a part of his empire. B. Rajputana, now called Rajasthan. Rajput kings were brave warriors who lived in strong hill forts. Alauddin led many battles, including Ranthambore, Chittorgarh. These were tough fights, but he eventually defeated the Rajputs. C. The Deccan, South India. Alauddin was the first Delhi Sultan to send his army so deep into the south. He conquered Devagiri in Maharashtra, Warangal in Telangana, Dwarasamudra in Karnataka. These places surrendered, paid tribute, and sent precious wealth to Delhi. Total achievements from this period. Area, achievement. Army. Built India's first huge permanent army. Mongols fought 6 invasions, won all, killed many Mongols. Border fortified northwest frontier, stopped future invasions. Added Gujarat, Rajasthan and southern kingdoms to Delhi Sultanate. Leadership. Chose strong generals like Ghazi Malik to defend the empire. In short, Alauddin Khalji was a military genius and a strict ruler. He made Delhi strong, rich and safe from foreign enemies. He was also the first Muslim ruler to extend his empire so far south in India. His Mongol defense and southern conquests became a model for future sultans. Would you like a comic strip of these events? A timeline of Alauddin's military actions? His economic and market reforms next? Just let me know. Here's a great deep and detailed summary of Alauddin Khalji's conquest of Gujarat, 1299 CE, in very simple and clear English, especially for someone with no background in history. Summary of Alauddin's conquest of Gujarat. Who was involved? Alauddin Khalji, Sultan of Delhi, a powerful and ambitious ruler. Rai Karan, Hindu king of Gujarat, belonging to the Vaghela dynasty. Ulugh Khan and Nusrat Khan, Alauddin's trusted generals who led the attack. Kamla Bai, Rai Karan's wife, later married by Alauddin. A slave boy captured during this campaign, later became Alauddin's top general. Where did this happen? The region of Gujarat in western India, rich, prosperous and full of temples and trade ports. Gujarat had important ports that brought Arabian horses, very useful for building a strong army. When did it happen? In the year 1299 CE, just 3 years after Alauddin became Sultan, 1296 CE. Why did Alauddin attack Gujarat? 1. Wealth. Gujarat was extremely rich, filled with gold, silver and precious things. 2. Army needs. Gujarat's seaports brought in Arabian horses, which Alauddin needed for his army. 3. Easy target. The king of Gujarat was weak and unlikely to fight strongly. 4. Ambition. Alauddin wanted to expand his empire and become the most powerful ruler in India. What happened in the attack? Alauddin sent Ulugh Khan and Nusrat Khan with a large army. When the army arrived, Rai Karan, king of Gujarat, fled and did not resist. Gujarat was easily captured. What was destroyed? The famous Somnath temple, a major Hindu temple, was looted and destroyed. The army took all the temple's gold and valuables. Even rich Muslim traders in Gujarat were not spared. Alauddin's army took their wealth too. This shows Alauddin cared more about money and power than religion during this campaign. What did Alauddin do after the victory? 1. Married Kamla Bai. She was Rai Karan's wife. This marriage was to prove his power and that he now owned everything the old king had. 2. Acquired Malik Kafur, a young slave boy captured in Gujarat. He was a eunuch, castrated male. He became Alauddin's favorite general and led major invasions in South India later. What did Alauddin gain? A huge amount of money and treasure, control of Gujarat's ports for horses and trade, a starting point for future expansion. The rise of Malik Kafur, who would become a key figure in the empire. Why is this important in history? This was Alauddin's first big conquest as Sultan. It gave him enough wealth to build a strong army and go on to conquer more kingdoms like Rajputana and the Deccan. It introduced Malik Kafur, who became famous for southern conquests. It showed how Alauddin ruled with a focus on military strength, strategy, and money, not just religion. Final thoughts. Alauddin's conquest of Gujarat in 1299 CE was a brilliant military move, a profitable victory, and the starting point of his rise as one of the strongest rulers in Indian history. He used the wealth from Gujarat to reward his army, buy Arabian horses, plan more wars, and tighten his grip on power. Would you like a comic strip or timeline of this event next? Or want to move on to Alauddin's Rajputana conquest or Deccan campaigns? Let me know, I'm ready. Here is a great, deep and detailed summary of the conquest of Rajputana by Alauddin Khalji in the simplest words possible and explained clearly for someone with no prior knowledge of history. Overview of the event. Alauddin Khalji, a powerful Sultan of Delhi, 1296 to 1316 CE, wanted to expand his empire. After conquering Gujarat, he turned his attention to Rajputana, today's Rajasthan, a region ruled by brave and independent Rajput kings. His main targets were the forts of Ranthambore and Chittor, two of the strongest Rajput forts. These battles were important for breaking Rajput power, spreading Khalji control, and showing that Alauddin was the most powerful king in India at that time. Conquest of Ranthambore, 1301 CE. What caused the war? Two Mongol soldiers ran away from Alauddin's army and hid in Ranthambore. The ruler of Ranthambore, Hamir Dev, refused to return them to Alauddin. This made Alauddin very angry. He saw this as an insult to his authority, so he decided to attack. The battle. First, Alauddin sent a large army under General Nusrat Khan. Nusrat Khan was killed in battle. The Rajputs fought fiercely. Then Alauddin himself came with a stronger army. After a long siege surrounding the fort, Ranthambore was captured. Jahar, mass suicide. The Rajput women, including queens, jumped into fire to avoid being captured. This act is called Jahar. It was a tragic tradition to protect their honor. Conquest of Chittor, 1303 CE. Why Chittor? Chittor was a major Rajput fort ruled by Raja Ratan Singh. It was very rich and powerful. A famous story says that Alauddin heard about the beauty of Queen Padmini, Ratan Singh's wife, and wanted her. Historians say this story may be a legend, not a historical fact. The battle. Alauddin's army surrounded Chittor for many months. The Rajputs fought bravely but were eventually defeated. Thousands of people were killed after the city fell. Jahar again. Once again, the Rajput women, including Padmini, burned themselves alive. They chose death over dishonor. This terrible event is told in poems and books like Padmavat by Malik Muhammad Jayasi. Aftermath. He named Chittor as Khusrabad after he left the city soon after because Mongol invaders were coming toward Delhi. Why these battles were important. 1. Broke Rajput resistance. Rajput kings were proud and independent. These defeats weakened their power. 2. Expanded the Khalji Empire. These victories brought more land, forts, wealth, and control. 3. Established Alauddin's fear and fame. Everyone saw how strong and ruthless Alauddin was. He was feared across India. 4. Control of resources. Rajasthan's forts helped control trade routes and supplied wealth and war horses. 5. Legacy of tragedy. These battles are remembered for Jauhar, symbol of Rajput bravery and sacrifice. Final summary. Topic: Ranthambore, Chittor. Ruler: Ratan Singh, year 1301 CE, 1303 CE. Reason for war: shelter to Mongol rebels, power, wealth, and possibly Padmini. Outcome: fort captured, Jauhar, massacre. Importance: broke Rajput morale, established Khalji control of Rajputana. In one line, Alauddin Khalji defeated powerful Rajput kingdoms like Ranthambore and Chittor, expanded his empire, and became one of the most feared rulers in Indian history. Would you like a comic strip, map, character chart, or timeline to go with this? Sure. Here's a great, deep, detailed summary of the conquest of Malwa, Siwana, and Jalore by Alauddin Khalji, written in the simplest language for total beginners, but with clear historical depth and full understanding. Summary: Alauddin Khalji's final Rajputana conquests, 1305 to 1311 CE. After conquering powerful places like Gujarat, Ranthambore and Chittor, Sultan Alauddin Khalji continued to expand his control over Rajputana, modern-day Rajasthan, and central India. His goal was to make himself the undisputed ruler of North India. 1. Conquest of Malwa, 1305 CE. Malwa was a rich region in central India. It had many important cities like Ujjain, a religious and ancient city; Mandu, known for its strong fort; Dar, a cultural centre; Chanderi, a trade town. Alauddin sent his general, Ain-ul-Mulk, to conquer Malwa. The invasion was successful. These cities were captured one by one. With Malwa under control, Alauddin gained more taxes, a military central India, a way to launch attacks on the South Deccan later. 2. Attack and capture of Siwana fort. Siwana was a strong Rajput fort in Rajasthan. Its ruler, Raja Shital Deva, reflected Alauddin's rule. Siwana also gave shelter to people who opposed the Sultan. At first, the Sultan's generals couldn't defeat the fort. Finally, Alauddin himself led the attack. Raja Shital Deva fought bravely, but lost. The fort fell, and Alauddin added it to his empire. This victory proved that no Rajput fort was too strong for Alauddin's army. 3. Conquest of Jalore. 1311 CE. Jalore was the last major Rajput fort, still free in Rajasthan. Alauddin sent a powerful army to attack it. A long battle followed, but the Rajputs were eventually defeated. By conquering Jalore, Alauddin completed his conquest of Rajputana. What did Alauddin achieve? By 1311 CE, Alauddin Khalji became the most powerful ruler in North India. He now controlled the whole of Rajputana, the rich lands of Malwa, key military forts and trade routes. He showed his military strength and ability to crush any opposition. Why these conquests mattered. 1. Wealth and resources. The conquered places were rich and helped fund Alauddin's big army. 2. Strategic control. Forts in Rajputana protected Delhi and made it hard for enemies to attack. 3. Political power. Beating the brave Rajput kings made Alauddin feared and respected. 4. Expansion goal. These victories stepped for his Deccan campaigns in South India. Would you like this turned into a comic strip, timeline, or map next? Sure. Here's a great, deep and detailed summary of Alauddin Khalji's conquest of the Deccan and South India, explained in simple, clear language for full understanding. Summary: Alauddin Khalji's conquest of the Deccan and South India, 1306 to 1311 CE. Alauddin Khalji, the powerful Sultan of Delhi, ruled 1296 to 1316 CE, wanted to expand his empire beyond northern India. He especially looked toward the Deccan region, central southern India and South India, for 3 major reasons. 1. To gain immense wealth. The temples and kingdoms of the south were very rich. 2. To strengthen his army. Southern ports could bring Arab horses, which were strong and valuable for cavalry. 3. To show his power. Expanding the empire meant more control, fear, and respect. Instead of going himself, he sent his most trusted and capable general, Malik Kafur, to lead the campaigns. Who was Malik Kafur? Originally a slave captured the Gujarat campaign. He was a eunuch, couldn't marry or have children. Became the Naib, deputy and chief general under Alauddin. Bray led the most successful campaigns of the Khalji dynasty. Regions he targeted and conquered. There were 4 major dynasties in the Deccan and South India. Region, dynasty, capital, ruler, Krama, Telangana. Baglana, ex-ruled by Rai Karan. Baglana, Rai Karan, ex-Gujarat king. Devagiri, Yadavas, Devagiri, Maharashtra. Rai Ramachandra, Warangol, Kakatiyas, Warangol, Telangana. Prataparudra, Eka Rudradev. Dwarasamudra, Hoysalas, Karnataka. Vaira Balala, Madurai, Pandyas, Tamil Nadu. Veerapandya and Sundara Pandya. Malik Kafur's campaigns, step by step. 1 Bagla, 1 Nun 13. Rai Karan, former ruler of Gujarat, had taken shelter in Baglana. Malik Kafur defeated him quickly. This was a small but strategic win. Murtu Devagiri Yadava Kingdom, 1306–1307 CE. Ruler Rai Ramachandra. He had earlier agreed to pay tribute to Alauddin, but stopped. Malik Kafur marched to Devagiri. Ramachandra surrendered without a fight. Alauddin's smart move, treated Ramachandra kindly, gave him the title Rai Rayan King of Kings, gave him money, land and honour. Married Ramachandra's daughter to form an alliance. Why? So Ramachandra would help Alauddin in further conquests. Warangal, Kakatiya Kingdom, 1309 CE. Ruler Prataparudra Rudradeva. Malik Kafur attacked with a large army. Warangal was strongly defended, but Kafur managed to defeat it. A huge treasure was taken. Prataparudra agreed to pay annual tribute to Delhi. Naha, 4 Dwarasamudra, Hoysala Kingdom, 1310 CE. Ruler Veerabalala III. Malik Kafur marched south into Karnataka. Veerabalala offered peace and submission, gave tribute and agreed to be loyal to Delhi. Mahshav Madurai, Pandya Kingdom, 1311 CE. Rulers Veera Pandya and Sundara Pandya fighting a civil war. Kafur entered during their war, looted Madurai temples, including Meenakshi Temple, took an enormous amount of gold, gems and elephants. This was one of the richest campaigns in Indian history. What was the result? Malik Kafur became the most powerful general in Alauddin's empire, brought back tons of gold and wealth to Delhi. Some called him the hero of the south. Alauddin Khalji became master of most of India from the north to deep south. Delhi Sultanate reached its greatest territorial size. He became richer than any sultan before him. Anchak. Final summary. Super simple. Alauddin wanted money and power, sent Malik Kafur south. Malik 5 kingdoms, Baglana, Devagiri, Warangal, Dwarasamudra, Madurai. They surrendered, gave tribute, or were looted. Huge wealth was taken to Delhi. Delhi Sultanate became very rich and very powerful. Malik Kafur's victories made him famous in Indian history. Would you like a visual map, timeline of battles, a comic strip, quiz to help you remember it, or audio explanation? Let me know. I'll create what you want next. Here's a great, deep and detailed summary of the conquest of South India under Malik Kafur, the trusted general of Alauddin Khalji, in the clearest and simplest way possible. Summary. Malik Kafur's South Indian conquests, c. 1309 to 1311 CE. Context. Who was Malik Kafur? Malik Kafur was a brilliant general of Sultan Alauddin Khalji. He was once a slave, then rose through the ranks to become Naib Malik, deputy of the empire. Alauddin trusted him deeply and gave him the task of conquering South India, Deccan. Why was South India important? South India had rich kingdoms with treasure-filled temples. These kingdoms were ruled by strong dynasties like 1. Yadavas of Devagiri, 2. Kakatiyas of Warangal, 3. Hoysalas of Dwarasamudra, 4. Pandyas of Madurai. Alauddin wanted this region for wealth to fund his empire, control over trade routes, supremacy over all Indian kings. Step-by-step conquests. 1. Baglana, Rai Karan. Rai Karan, who earlier ruled Gujarat, had now taken over Baglana. Malik Kafur defeated him first. This was an easy warm-up battle. 2. Devagiri, Yadava's Rai Ramachandra. Rai Ramachandra had already promised to pay tribute earlier, but he stopped sending taxes, which gave Alauddin a reason to attack. In 1306–07, Kafur attacked Devagiri. Rai Ramachandra surrendered quickly without a major fight. Alauddin treated him kindly, gave him 1 lakh tankers coins, gave him the title Rai Rayan, gave him land in Gujarat, married one of Ramachandra's daughters. Why? Because Alauddin wanted Ramachandra as an ally for future wars in South India. 3. Kakatiya's Prataparudradeva. In 1309, Kafur attacked Warangal in present-day Telangana. King Prataparudradeva resisted but was defeated. He had to accept Alauddin's control, pay heavy tribute, taxes, regularly give away a large amount of gold and jewels. This was one of the richest victories for the Delhi Sultanate. Nash 4, Dwarasamudra, Hoysala's Viraballala 3. In 1310, Kafur turned west to the Hoysala kingdom in Karnataka. He fought and defeated Viraballala III, took away tons of gold, gems, and wealth, sent all of it back to Delhi. 5 Madurai, Pandya's Veerapandya. In 1111, Kafur's final target was the Pandya kingdom in Tamil Nadu. King Veera Pandya ran away instead of fighting. So Malik Kafur's army looted the capital Madurai, plundered famous temples like Chidambaram, took huge treasures. According to Amir Khusrau, Malik Kafur went as far south as Rameshwaram, built a mosque there to show Muslim control, returned to Delhi with 500 elephants, 7,000 horses, 500 mans, 20,000 kilograms of precious stones. Outcome: Sultan Alauddin was so pleased with Malik Kafur's success that he made him Naib Malik, the second most powerful man in the empire. These conquests made Delhi richer than ever before, expanded the Sultanate's control deep into South India, sent a clear message: Delhi Sultanate was the strongest force in India at that time. Important points to remember. Key kingdom, ruler, result. Devagiri, Rai Ramachandra, surrendered, became ally. Warangal, Prataparudradeva, defeated, paid heavy tribute. Dwarasamudra, Viraballala III, defeated, looted. Madurai, Veerapandya, fled, city looted. Why it matters: these wars showed that Delhi Sultanate had unmatched power. They also exposed the weakness of the southern kingdoms against northern Muslim armies. Malik Kafur proved that a slave could rise to become the greatest general in Indian history. This was one of the most successful and profitable military campaigns in medieval India. Would you like a comic strip, map, or a timeline diagram to go with this summary? I can also make flashcards or quiz questions if you'd like to revise.